What's up, guys? Welcome to Rise to Elevate podcast. And for interview 35, I got the one and only, the multi-talented, let's say the podcast owner, the radio specialist. I mean, what else did I not name?
Oh my God. The list goes on.
Thank you for coming on,
Yeah.
Maggie with Disco P or Disco TP. It's been beautiful because I remember whenever you left for Australia. Was it Australia?
No.
You went out to somewhere.
Argentina.
Yes. And that was when we first connected. And I
Yeah.
was like, hey, when you get back, let's get to it. You know what I mean? Because you were doing a lot during that time. You still are.
You're right.
You know? So other than that, before we even dig into, who you are, how you been? What have you been up to?
I'm good. I'm really busy, actually.
Yeah?
I don't know what it is.
It was just your birthday.
It was just my birthday.
How was your birthday?
It was good.
Yeah.
I went to a show. It's always my thing. Went to see Margot Price.
Okay.
At the Orange Peel. We were just talking about the Orange Peel. How great of a venue it is.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
And it's bigger than Music Farm,
which
so
we
it's definitely.
we were talking about. But
that's cool. And you
Yeah.
got the meter, right?
yes.
Like right after the concert.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and that was
cool.
completely on accident.
Wow.
We went to a bar next door. And
Right.
of course, we're having a couple cocktails.
Yeah, it's your birthday.
And walked back out, walked past the tour bus, an Orange Peel tour bus, and she just was out hanging out.
Was it just casually what's up? Or was it
Yeah.
starstruck type thing?
And it's funny that you asked that because I've actually never been starstruck. That was the very first time I was ever starstruck.
That's your favorite artist. You know?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. And it
Right.
was more of I also had been drinking,
Yeah.
so I was a little extra.
You're feeling yourself.
Yeah, I was just really excited
That's
to see
cool
her.
though.
It was
I
a
like
nice
to
little
hear
treat for
that,
the birthday.
Yeah. And definitely happy late birthday again. And
Thank you.
Other than that, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? Where were you born and stuff?
Oh my gosh, well, I'm born in Walterboro. Well, I was born in Charleston, grew up in Walterboro.
Okay.
So not too far from here. It's 45 minutes.
Right.
And went to high school there, but I went to school at Clemson. So I've been in the upstate for a bit. And then when I graduated, I moved to Charlotte.
Wow.
And then I moved back home. And then I moved to Atlanta.
Wow.
Because my day job's in advertising.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I've moved around a little bit for the jobs.
Right.
And finally came back to Charleston 2015.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So before we even dig into, just everything that you got into, because that's a lot, honestly.
I know.
Where did you go to high school and stuff? Was it in Walterboro and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I went to a really small private school called Prep. And I think my graduating class was 28.
Wow.
It was super tiny. And it was people that I went to kindergarten with. And I've known for basically all my
Did that
life.
play a big factor, how you were as a person? Because that's a small encounter compared to my encounter with Wanda. It was 2,000-3,000 people in one class. So how did that play a factor in your life?
Yeah, I mean that's actually a great question because I realized how sheltered and small Walterboro was, and going to a very small high school. When I went to college, I made a point to meet people of all different types of life and backgrounds and just interests, because I didn't really get that in Walterboro. And it was a little bit of a shock, just when you're in a very small, tiny town and you move. I had moved to, my first year I went to Winthrop because I couldn't get into Clemson.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Winthrop is a really good school.
Yes.
Too. And I know people that try really hard to get in there.
Yeah, and it's a great school. It was just one of those things where I had to do that first in order to get to the
Clemson.
Yeah. But baby steps to get to the bigger picture is always important.
Yeah, very.
And moving to Rock Hill was massive, and being right outside of Charlotte and going to Charlotte a lot in college.
So we're and I don't mean to backtrack a little bit,
you're
but
good.
right after, going through the high school stuff, you went to what college first? To Winthrop, and then you went to
Clemson.
Okay, so were you living around here during the Winthrop time? And I don't mean to dig that deep, but I'm just trying to show people the progression and where you came from. You know?
No, I totally get that. I was in Walterboro basically, throughout high school, moved to Rock Hill, was there for about a year, and then went to Clemson.
Wow.
And
And
so,
what was your main focus then? Was it just work and college, or what
when I was at Clemson?
Yeah, or even after high school and stuff.
Yeah, my goal at the time was always to be a journalist, and so that's always been kind of a motivating factor when it comes to school. But I also majored in partying. I was a big social butterfly, and you could always see me out in the downtown. But yeah, I worked. I've actually had a job since I was 12. I've never not had a job. So
What was your first job?
I worked at a plant store
What?
selling Christmas trees during the winter.
Awesome.
And then in
Yeah.
the summer, I would do like landscaping jobs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like to hear that because you always got to work, you know. And once you learn how to be consistent with work, it's like everything else falls into place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did you like, you know? All right, go ahead. What were you
I was just saying. Well, I mean, it was really important because my parents were like, you know, our money's our money, so you better get some because you know you better learn to start having to have your own money and pay your bills. And you know, at 12, mind you, because that's kind of, I think, illegal, but it was more of these little tiny odd jobs around the plant store. And then once I was, I think, 15, then it was more of like a everyday after school kind of deal. But
so were you like, you know, not necessarily like stuck in that route of working for a while, or did you like eventually like get out of it? You know what I mean?
I mean, in college,
you're doing what you love to do now. I can definitely tell. Like, there's
Thank
if
you.
y'all know with me, you know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know,
Thank
so
you.
like, where did you get the shift? Like, when did it happen?
you know, so when I moved to Atlanta, I actually had a blog with my roommate at the time, and so she did like food and fashion, and I did like dating, travel, and music.
Okay.
And because I was new to Atlanta at the time, so I was always out and about. And unfortunately, when I moved back home, she and I were like, well, we're going to need to dissolve this because it's hard to do a blog when someone's in Atlanta, someone's in Charleston. And so I thought about it. I was like, you know, music has always been kind of my lifeline.
Right.
And, you know, growing up, it's hard sometimes to express your emotions or to kind of really accurately identify the feeling. And so when you're not that emotionally self-aware yet, just listening to music kind of helps you channel and figure out what you're really feeling.
Yeah.
And that has been, like I said, like a lifeline. And so that kind of became the passion with that first blog. And then when I moved back to Charleston, I was like, well, why don't we just do just music? And that was like, I think 2015.
Wow.
And so it slowly evolved. Like back then I did like album reviews. And
Like, what kind of artists were you doing? Like, was it just anybody? Because I saw you have Harlem, which is one of my favorites. Did I say your name right?
Oh, Harlem, yeah.
Yeah, I love her. So,
Oh my
like,
God, she's so talented.
yeah, very. I mean, we have so many talented people in Charleston. It's kind of crazy. So, like, even just doing, you know, because actually Atlanta has a bigger music scene.
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, any difference in between that? Like, did you do any music blogs in Atlanta, or was it just in Charleston?
Well, the Atlanta-based blog that I have with my roommate, I did a little bit of music coverage, but, you know, it was more full-on when I moved back here.
Did you see a difference? Like, because that's two different cultures, and they're fully on in music. You know?
Yeah,
So, like,
it's-
what's the difference?
I'm trying to choose my words wisely.
No, yeah, I mean, it's honestly the truth, though. If you,
It is the truth.
you know.
I think Atlanta, the people that go to the shows in Atlanta are there for the original music and that artist. Where in Charleston, we have a lot of really great original music and artists. However, original music isn't what leads everything. Like, it's a cover music town, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And
Very.
yeah, and it's hard because it's not like a Nashville or Atlanta where gigs can start at like 3 p.m. You know, you have happy hour shows. Like, that's not a thing here, which is kind of dumb to me because a restaurant could provide a platform for 3 different artists.
Yeah.
You know, and because the venue doesn't pay the artists, which is another thing, but they're living off of tips.
Just so much. It's pretty crazy. I was even telling my friends about that who perform downtown and stuff. Like, you need to shift your energy and travel to the other places to perform because it's crazy. But anyways, let's dig into more about you.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think that even doing the, like, just radio stuff, have you ever thought about converting to doing the actual face? I know we were talking about doing Zoom, but, like, do you convert that and actually start doing, like, caption to your videos and shorts and stuff? You would really kill the game with, because your personality is bubbly.
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, like, you ever thought about doing that? Like,
Well, you know, I actually had a TV show in 2016.
okay. What was
So
the name
those
of
are
that?
like buried in the archives. Well, it was Disco TV. It was called the Weekend Playlist for Fox 24.
Wow.
And it was every Thursday night. And I went on, it was just like 5 minutes. And I told everyone what was going on that weekend in the realm of local artists.
What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
Fox 24 sold my spot to an advertiser.
That's why.
Because it's, I mean, unfortunately, it's about the money.
No, it is about
the business.
And everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Because that could be just a step down to get you back up. Like to
100%.
So like what happened after that? Like was it 98.6 ohms? Like are you working with that?
Yeah, so that's actually a new thing. That's only a year old.
Okay.
And the amazing 𝙄𝙩𝙬𝙚𝙬, she has a show and she's very active there. I believe she's the assistant station manager. I could be quoting that wrong, but she and Grace McAnally, she is the station director. They're insanely wonderfully talented humans, and 𝙄𝙯𝙀 said, hey, will you be on my show one Thursday? Joined her, and we had so much fun. We have such great chemistry. We're like, we should do this once a month. Called it Songspiration, and it's kind of this back and forth of she listens to different music and I listen to different music, and so we'll kind of swap. But then we'll also educate each other, like, oh, well, do you know about this song? And do you know what this is about? And do you know who, like, produced this?
Right.
And so it's just, like, a really great hour-long show once a month where we talk about the music that we love.
What is it on? Like, is it on?
It is on 𝙄𝙯 Radio.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what times? Like, what's the days and stuff?
Yeah, so it's the third Thursday of the month, and it's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like to hear it because I haven't personally tapped into it, but, like, I've seen it and I followed it a little bit. I think I followed that account, so it's pretty cool. So, like, other than that, what else do you do? Because I know you do a lot of different things, but...
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, so I do the monthly radio show with 𝙄𝙯𝙀 on 𝙂. I actually booked the music for Creative Mornings, which is a monthly morning networking event, which I hate the word networking, but it's like a creative group that gets together and they have tickets for it, but it's free. And you have free breakfast, free coffee, and you have a speaker once a month that just talks about what they do in their life and how it pertains to that monthly theme. So this past week was a Nordic chef, and the theme was touch. And so kind of talking about how she got into cooking, like the whole story behind it, and then, how she's touching people with her food without physically touching people. But, it was really great story to hear from someone that you wouldn't normally in your everyday life.
Right.
Like, I don't know anything about Nordic cooking, but it was really educational.
Yeah, I was about to say, so has that been making an impact on, like, what you've been doing in your life and stuff?
I mean, I love going to Creative Mornings. I highly recommend it for anyone that's in the creative field, any capacity, because you just feel really inspired when you leave. And you always, I don't know, it helps generate ideas, and it kind of gets that little creative incubator inside of you working. And so whenever you leave, plus they have really great coffee and it's free, you're like really jazzed. You're like, and it is at 8 a.m. That's the only caveat. So 8 a.m. on a Friday, I know it's really hard, but if you can do it, you're out by like 9:15 and you're like, I've done so much already today.
You're
like
energetic and happy and good vibes.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, do you meditate and stuff like that, or?
Oh, I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday about meditating. I don't, but I think I probably should start.
Right. Yeah, do. I mean, you'd be surprised. I always say that because of home and like, all these different things that, I thought. And disco TP with you. How'd you come up with that? Like, well, let's start off with that.
So my dear friend and I were actually at the Tabernacle in Atlanta. We were at a show, and we were playing this game where if you yourself, like your being, like you, Marco, if you were going to be a band, what would the name be? And so my girlfriend turned to me and was like, well, you would be Disco Teepee. And I was like, where the hell did you get that from?
Right.
She's like, I don't know. It just kind of makes sense. She's like, there's this very like, transit nomadic lifestyle that you live. Like, I move a lot, I travel a lot, but then there's this, sorry light, oh my gosh.
No, it's my fault.
I'm just gonna beat it up.
New spot coming soon.
But this juxtaposition of these two different ideas, she's like, I think it just makes sense for you.
Yeah.
So you should think of a band name for you.
Yeah, I mean, let's say, I think I like the 𝙄𝙯𝙀𝙀 band.
That'd be a great band too.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'd be the band, or not the band, I'd be the lead guitarist.
There you go. I'll be the drummer.
Yeah, and we just...
Yeah. I took drum lessons one time. It was awful.
Right.
Awful.
Did you, not only just do music reviews, but make your own music, or what?
I don't make music. I've tried to teach myself how to play guitar. I have taken professional drum lessons. I think I'm better suited for the business side of it.
Right.
And I understand music. I appreciate it. I just think the business side and the marketing side is more for me.
Yeah, no, and I mean, at least you know your lane. You'd be surprised. 'Cause some people really just, Yeah, we'll dig in that. But anyways, so Disco TP, like, can you just tell, even for the people that may not understand the past few minutes, like, what do you all cover? Like, what is it exactly?
Yeah.
Just so that people can, know what's going on.
Yeah, well, originally it was a blog, and that's when we were talking about, I did album reviews and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of changed and evolved more into a podcast, and so we also have the podcast, and by we, it's me. Like, there is no one else.
Right.
Disco TP, I do everything myself. So,
I'll give you props.
thank you. It's hard, yeah.
It is.
And it's kind of evolved to a podcast because I have to be honest, when you do album reviews, I just felt really uncomfortable because I don't think I should be able to tell someone
about their music.
Yeah.
Shout out, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
shout
no.
out to 𝙄𝙣𝙩𝙬𝙬, because, and I hope he watches this. He actually he does music reviews too, and I was like, let me judge one day with you, because he's pretty huge and stuff. So I was like, it would be cool to help him. He's like, I can't let you join because you never made a song. Which is very true. Like, how can someone, you know what I mean? To an extent, though, because we know what to hear. Like, your name's Disco TP, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you gotta know how it sounds.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, have you found anybody you've encountered that, like, you're addicted to now from doing what you've been doing? Like, music-wise?
Oh my gosh, like every day. Like,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where when I wake up in the morning, the radio's on. And then, so like the routine is I get up, Alexa, good morning. And then she immediately starts playing my radio station that I like in the morning.
What's the first song you play?
Well, it's just the radio.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And then because I work from home, and then once we segue into the office, then it's a completely different thing where I pick an album every day. I try to listen to an album every single day.
Right.
Of all different genres. And right now I'm obsessed with Burna Boy. Burna Boy.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
Like,
what's your favorite song by? Do you know a name?
Science.
Okay.
Have you listened to the?
I've just seen his music videos because he has some really good music videos. So I go on YouTube and just let it play. I don't know any names personally, but I just wanted, you'd be surprised. A lot of people like to collab like that. So
you probably know his song Last because he samples Tony Braxton's. He Wasn't Man Enough for Me. Have you heard that? That's like it's like all over the place now.
I've heard Tony Braxton, but I've never heard that song.
Okay, you gotta listen to it too.
I'm in the peanut shell. You know what I mean?
We're gonna break that. We're gonna expand it.
Right.
I'm gonna send you like every day. I'm gonna be like, this is what I'm listening to.
Well, even if you do music reviews, I suggest to go on like Instagram. I don't know if you ever done that and do it like live. You ever thought about that? And like have people line up and just be like, hey guys, send me your song right now, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. And,
yeah, I mean, it always goes back to, I just feel like it's just my opinion, and I don't ever want my opinion to deter someone's artistic direction, because I don't think I have that jurisdiction over someone's
that's good.
artistry.
At least you know that. I know I've said that already, but that's good. That's really good. So what's next for Disco TP? Like, what's the next big move? Or even for Meggie?
Yeah,
What's
I mean,
next?
I'm going to another show at the Orange Peel on Friday. I'm going to go see Elle King. We love her.
Okay.
And, I'm trying to figure out my next show. I think I have one lined up in Atlanta to go see this Americana band, the Wild Feathers.
Okay.
And I try to pick a concert once a month that's not in Charleston to kind of get out and try stuff.
That's smart. What's the furthest place you've been so far?
Well, this year
You went to Argentina. So.
Yeah, last year we went to Argentina, which was amazing. Did get to see a little bit of live music, not planned. It was more of just kind of like in the street or like a random bar that I stumbled into. But I mean, I will travel for shows, like not necessarily last year, but when Ben Harper was reuniting with the Innocent Criminals in San Diego, I flew out for that.
You're like, I had to.
Oh yeah, and like when Outkast, like they were getting back together at Austin City Limits Festival, flew down for that. Like when those sort
How
of
was that? It was dope.
It was a little disappointing, and it's only because, and I don't know the backstory of why there's such an issue between the two of them, but it was Big Boy would come out, sing some songs. he would then leave the stage, and then Andre would come out. Wow. So it's kind of like this figure eight of them coming in and out of the stage.
Outcast, it's the individual song.
Yeah, like they were not on the stage together for one song.
That's crazy. It's something we don't know about, man. Hopefully I get a chance to interview them. I love
you.
You guys.
Will. We're gonna put it out in the universe because you are gonna interview them.
Definitely. Or even you too for your podcast. So you ever thought about like not changing what you do and like how you do your podcast, but kind of doing this because you have the personality to do interviews.
Thank you. Yeah, I do record all of my interviews, the audio and the visual. So I have videos of everyone I've ever interviewed.
Right.
It's more of my own critical thinking of it's not good enough or no one's going to really like it. It's kind of...
You just have to beat the odds because you really got it. And I feel
Thank
like
you.
meeting even the artist you're meeting, going out and you can interview them, and that would be like a cool, like, so you would really eat it up, you know what I mean?
I should have recorded it when I met Margaret Price on the street.
Always record. Always record.
I know.
It'd be good. So like, is there anything, well, let me ask, what's your social media and stuff like that? Where can we find you?
Yeah, it's at Disco Teepee. Everything's Disco Teepee on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and it's discoteepee.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite social media? Like, what are you going?
I'm an Instagram person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also my generation. I'm an elder millennial, but I am learning TikTok, so I'm trying to be better at TikTok, but, right now I'm more Instagram.
I think they're going to get shut down. I say it every interview, and one day it's going to happen, but it's because of that whole China thing situation, like them hacking, and just random stuff that I see on TikTok is pretty crazy.
It's crazy. Well, the other thing is, so my day job is in digital advertising. Like I only do SEO, and it's now trending that TikTok will be another version of Google.
Wow.
So because people are now, instead of using Google to search for stuff, you go to TikTok because you get authentic reviews, you get a visual, you get people interacting with whatever you're trying to find.
Mind-boggling ones like, whoa, I did not know that would happen if you do. Or even how the best locations to eat at and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Well, because I would never go to a restaurant without looking at their Instagram because I want a vibe check of like, well, what does it feel like? I always look at the menu, but I'm like, I want to know how it feels.
All right.
And then, I don't know why that's like a weird thing for restaurants and venues in general. Yeah. I want to know what it feels like, and then I'll make a decision whether or not I want to go.
Right. Yeah, I feel you, especially in Atlanta, because I went, me and my girl went out to some pizza joint, and it was like crazy because we were the lightest color there, and like it was like 2 a.m. and stuff, and it was just like, I don't know, I just didn't expect it, and it's a cool vibe there though. Like you never realize like the different cities of what the vibes bring.
Oh, 100%.
Especially at nighttime.
Oh yeah, the neighborhoods are completely different, and the thing I appreciate a lot about Atlanta is that people of all walks of life are out together.
Yeah, they're not like bashing each other or like, trying to one up each other. I mean, in a way, of course, that's everywhere, but it's different there.
And unfortunately, it's not like that in Charleston.
No,
it's
yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about, or like even just tell people, or like upcoming events, or
I think the only other thing we haven't touched on is Sisters in Song, which we have to talk about.
Ask, I did see you were co-founder of that.
Yeah.
Right? So how was that brought up about?
So the way it worked is between myself, Emily Curtis, and Erica Lamble. Okay. And so Erica heads up Ear for Music, which is a music promotion booking company. Emily's a solo artist in town, very talented humans. And we were all individually talking to I was talking to Emily, having a conversation. Emily was having a conversation with Erica solo. And Emily was like, so the three of us are having the same conversation. We should all get together and talk about it.
Right.
Which was, everyone has dreams and goals that they want to achieve in the music industry. It is very hard to do it as a woman.
Yeah.
As an individual that is woman identifying, non-binary, women of color. It is very difficult.
Right.
It's not an even playing field, and this is certainly not a women against men's thing. It's more of
a shine.
Well, it's a let's band together. No pun intended.
Right.
And let's make stuff happen. Like, because I have a digital marketing background, I actually had one of my sisters come and say, I don't think I like my website. Like, would you mind taking a look and telling me what you think? Of course. Like, I would be happy to help. And I'm trying to figure out how to work GarageBand. I know it's easy, but
hard.
I can't figure out how to fade music in. And so
What? That's crazy. We'll talk about that off there.
Yeah, please.
Like, some people really be taking the sauce. But no, that's crazy. It just takes a lot of connecting. You know what I mean? To feel like what y'all are trying to do, because that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
So like, when did y'all start that? Like, was that just recently?
So it's a year old.
Okay.
March will actually be 2 years. And, you know, we started it like 𝙄𝙤𝙩𝙚𝙬. Like, we had our first official meeting. LaFay, Brittany Opperman,
And
Paige
during those
McKenzie.
meetings, y'all just talk about like ways to improve the artist's.
Yeah, so we all go around. It's a once a month meeting. It's the third Monday of the month. We do ask that you DM us. We do not publicly give the time and date just because of privacy reasons.
Of course.
Unfortunately, some of these artists have had incidents with stalkers.
Yeah,
so we like to
definitely.
keep that very private.
Yeah.
But if you DM us, we'll give you that information. And we basically go around and we're like, all right, cool. What do you have coming up? What do you need help with? What do you want to like? What's a win? What's a challenge? And what's coming up
What's
for you?
like some situations that you've had come up, like dealing with that so far?
When someone's asking for help?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Give us an example if you can. Like, is it more of like, I'm just only going in depth for people who may be looking for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
You'd be surprised how many people like different things. You know what you do. So
Yeah, a great example is Emily has been educating herself and teaching herself how to produce her own music, which is commendable in itself. And we've had several sisters that are like, hey, like, do you think you could show me X, Y, and Z? Or would you mind listening
like
to my
GarageBand
demo?
and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like, because I'm working on a project that I would need GarageBand for. And so I've asked several people, and I know that there's YouTube videos out there, but anyway, so, and that's a really great example of someone going to Emily and needing production help.
Yeah.
I've had several individuals ask, you know, how would you recommend I do my website or, you know, my branding, or can you tell me how to do music SEO? Of course, like, so it's really, I have skills that someone else may not have, but I can help them get further to their goal. And it's 100% based off of authentic friendships that we've built by doing this.
Which is networking powerfully, you know. And I give you full props because you really
Thank you.
sound like you got things in the works.
We're really trying.
Or
We're
y'all
trying.
do, because it sounds like you got a beautiful group and y'all work hard. I would love to meet everybody and maybe do like an event or something like that. And
which is also hopefully in the works. So.
yeah, definitely. It just takes time, you know.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to ask you, not necessarily talking about like you, but can you always be yourself? Like your ego, like, because I can already tell you can, because I've just met you today and you're very, not open, but just like, I love it, you know what I mean? Because some people will come here and be like not talking. I had an interview one time come and they didn't talk the whole time, like sitting there.
It's hard.
You
It's
know?
hard to be an interviewer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very uncomfortable to be the interviewee for the first time or second time.
Right.
But to be an interviewer, it is so hard in those instances because you are trying your best to make some connection. And sometimes it's just hard to connect with certain people. And back to your question, to be myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's taken me a long time to get here, to be comfortable with myself. And I mean, I'm still working on it every day. But I've just kind of gotten to a place where I don't know how to be anyone else. So I should probably learn how to be myself.
Right, and perfect it. And then teach somebody else how to be themselves, which your group definitely does that. What's the name of the group? So for people?
It's Sisters in Song. And on Instagram, it's SIS_CHS.
S dot, right? Dot S, or is it no?
No dots.
Okay. I thought I was looking at it. I was meaning to bring that
Maybe
up.
there are dots.
Oh,
I'm going to double check. But now I'm going to second guess
I
myself.
didn't mean to get you in trouble. I was kidding. So it's been beautiful though. Like I just want to ask, is there anything else more you want to talk about before we go, or anything?
I mean, I think we covered it, like creative mornings. If you all can come once a month on a Friday.
Right.
They're really great on Instagram. Sisters in Song, third Monday of the month. And Radio, the third Thursday of the month.
Right. And then Disco TP on, when does your podcast and stuff drop?
So it comes out once a month. The date does change.
Okay.
I have a social media person that tells me when it's supposed to go out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're
Cassie
awesome.
is very helpful.
I'm trying to get on your level.
It's taken me a very long time to get here, which is another thing that I think. I know we touched on a little bit before we even started recording, where it's like, it takes a long time to get to certain places. So
especially, yeah, and like this interview, what was it like? You know, a couple of, I know I can't see the time, but it's crazy that like 30 minutes. It's a short time frame for the life that you just did. You know,
yeah.
And I think it sucks. You know what I mean? Because like people don't really give people the flowers that they deserve the credit that you've been through and the ups and downs and left and rights. You know, so. But thank you again for coming on here, Meggie with Disco TP. It's been beautiful. You're actually my second female.
Hell yeah.
So it's been beautiful. I can't wait for the next one. And because I really want to do more female. I think people are sleeping on the whole female role of like entrepreneurs.
Especially in Charleston.
You know, yeah.
There are some amazing female musicians that are, I mean, and all different. We're not talking just like, you know, singer-songwriters. Like there's some amazing female DJs in town that people need to start paying attention to. I forgot the name of
one. She's huge. She be going to like trio and stuff like that.
ALX.
I think
that's her Instagram
She's
handle.
getting huge.
Yeah.
And then DJ Darmin, you shout out to him. That's my favorite DJ. I like him. He can rap too. Before we go, who's your favorite like artist around here? I didn't even get a chance to ask that.
Oh, I mean, all of them. I mean, Emily Kurz, Lauren
I see
Hall,
you advertise and love. You support everybody. Like that's one thing I really love. Your shirt says support, doesn't it?
Yeah, support live music, hire live musicians.
Yeah, you really support people and show people love. And every time I see your stories, you really do. Like,
thank you.
It's really cool to see that. But again, thank you for coming on here, guys.
Thank you so much.
And you know, I just can't believe it happened because like it's manifestation at its finest. We've been waiting for a while for this one, and a lot of people that have lined up for interviews have been waiting. But it's like, this is it, guys. Can't wait for you guys to see what's next, not just for me, but also for Disco TP. It's been beautiful. But again, thank you. I love every single one of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. And remember, the only way to achieve your dreams is through you. Nobody else is going to do it. You got to get up every day and disco your way out. I love you guys. Have a blessed one. Peace.